Sonichu time. This time, it's issue 7. This issue brings up something that a lot of people have actually been complaining about since issue 5 on. Chris's involvement in the comic. You'll see what I mean near the end of it. So this is Sonichu issue 7. Let's just get it over with. So, on the cover, Magi-chan is holding the Sonichu balls with a time vortex behind him with the memories of Chris. And this cover, to its credit, is not that bad. Anyway, taking place after the events of the last issue, Meg and Chris are talking to Bionic and how he talks about how he's now dating the Fifi LaFoon ripoff. When did that happen? Who knows? Who cares? Hey B-Hog, are you ready for some paintball and love potion? I'm bearing for a big mess.
Sexual innuendo.
Feels good to use that clip again. Anyway, Chris and Megan meet up with Sonichu and Magi-chan, who come to the conclusion that one of the Sonichu balls went back in time. How did we get to that point? How did they find that out? Can we please see that part of the story? No? Okay then. That's it! Approximately November 13th, 1996, during a scheduled basketball practice at 2:31:29 p.m., the crystal bonked Christian Weston Chandler on his head. At that exact moment, that locker slammed open in his imagination. Is it really approximately, or approximately, if you actually have the time down to the seconds? That's crazy. At best, that's only a random access guess. Actually, he is correct. I remember being struck on my old bean as I imagined Mighty reclining against the locker as the situation was read from a Fear Street novel from my favorite author, R.L. Stine. At this moment, at random, that locker door slammed open, and Bionic the Hedgehog entered my world. I had thought it was a mistakenly thrown basketball. This corrects that theory. I feel as silly as the time that I temporarily gained weight, became stupid, and went to watch television at Ghost Command. Seth MacFarlane. Here is a silly sketch idea for a Family Guy episode I fully approve for you to use as you see fit. And so we get Peter from Family Guy dressed up as Chris working at Ghost Command. I feel the need to point out that the Ghostbusters that's being referenced is actually not the classic comedy Ghostbusters, but rather the Filmation's animated series. Yeah. And after whatever that was, they engaged to travel back in time. And Chris now has glasses for some reason. Man, that would be as stupid as every time you cut back to me I'm wearing a different hat. That would just be stupid. So, playing off of Futurama once again, they travel back to the past, to the year 1996. Past Chris talks with his friend Joe, who talks about how he went on a date last night and it didn't go so well, saying that the date ended in spilled soup and tossed salad.
Sexually?
No, we only use that clip once an episode. Then we get a really confusing page showing, I guess, Chris's imagination coming up with Bionic for the first time as he gets hit with the Sonichu ball. And then Beavis and Butthead. Because why not? Anyway, they fly back in time and Chris goes flying out into the time void. And after that, Sonichu and Magi-chan talk for a while until the two dummies finally realize, hey, where's Chris? As Magi-chan comes to the conclusion that Chris is now stuck in a time void. Chris is lucky this doesn't operate on Doctor Who logic, because if that's the case, he would fly out into the time void and he would disintegrate. Then we see Sonichu and Rosachu on a date, talking about how sad it is that Chris is gone. Well, at least his secretary, Allison, can handle the city decisions, but I just don't know how his family will cope with the pain and temporary loss, and I worry how our defense forces can deal with the possible invasions of our number of villains. Again, I'm pretty sure that the talking electric hedgehog Pokemon will be able to take on any villain that comes to fight. Let's go back to our place and do our thing. Ooh, I love you, Rosachu, and your seductive ways. You are the woman. We got to stop by Walmart and get us a raincoat. The weather's just right. Yeah, that's what I meant when we were saying that we were getting to the worst of this comic. But thankfully, that's next time. Thank God that's next time. Meanwhile, at PVCC, we see this guy, Scott Palazzo, who was briefly introduced in Quick's Love Quest, and then a bunch of other stock villains, some of which who haven't been introduced yet, others who've only appeared once. And then we see Mary Lee Walsh, who has a watermelon chest for some reason, and tells them how they're going to take over Quickville, and Chris is out of the picture, and all that other crap. And we end with Chris floating through the time void and being haunted by his past memories. So that was Sonichu issue 7, and man was it something. Time travel is very confusing to write about, but Chris made it even somehow more impossible to follow. I don't get it. I mean, how did the Sonichu ball go back in time? How did Magi-chan come to that conclusion? And overall, this issue gets one thing accomplished in that it takes Chris out of the story, so that's kind of a plus. But with all that said, we'll see that why, with or without Chris in the story, this comic is still going to suck. Look forward to that next time. Next time on Sonichu Time, we get to see the worst of this comic. Let that sink in. I'm the Media Whiz, because one art for him wasn't enough. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. I mean, we've sent him 3 crappy movies and a Sonichu comic, and he still hasn't cracked. Well, don't worry. With this mental keyboard, we'll be able to go into his mind and we'll be able to send him visual messages. Holy crap, we can do that? Yeah, and if one of us could actually find a way to actually do this, we might be able to actually, physically, film ourselves and communicate to him mentally. Hopefully he will be able to see us, so we can officially know that we're still here and we're coming for him.